On today's video, we will be servicing a power transfer unit on a all-wheel drive Lincoln MKX. This one is a 2012 model. This service will include drilling a hole in the bottom of the PTU because it is not considered to be a serviceable unit from the factory. Welcome to Speed Bump Garage. My name is Kent, and today we're going to be working on my wife's daily driver, which is a 2012 Lincoln MKX, and this is a all-wheel drive MKX. So this video actually started about 9 months ago when the MKX started leaking a little bit of gear oil in our garage. And I was obviously concerned. I brought it over here and put it on the lift, and sure enough, that gear oil was coming from the PTU. That is essentially just your transfer case on this MKX, and it was coming out of the vent on top of the transfer case. So like I always do when I have a problem with this vehicle in particular, I went to Google, did a quick search, and they were saying that the PTU on this car is non-serviceable and it is filled for life. Well, that's great until it starts leaking. But another problem with this PTU is it is right next to the catalytic converter coming off the engine. So it sees a huge heat load from that exhaust running right next to it, and it cooks the gear oil inside of it. Well, it starts cooking and building up, and then the oil starts to sling out that vent on the top. This seemed to be a pretty common issue. I found lots of threads online about it, and everybody said that that means you have reached the end of your life of the PTU and you need to replace it. Now, granted, 9 months ago, we had just rolled 100,000 miles on this Lincoln. And I don't know about you, but I think it ought to last longer than 100,000. So I went looking for a solution other than replacing it because it's a little bit of a big job to replace it, and I really wanted to try to prolong the life of it. So let's talk about what would have prolonged the life of it and how I brought it back. With this PTU seeing that big a heat load, I should have been servicing it. Probably every 10 to 20,000 miles it needed serviced. Well, it was filled for life and has no drain plug. There was no way to get the oil out of it without splitting the case. So you couldn't really service it. And what I decided to do was I drilled a hole in the bottom of the PTU so that I could drain the oil out of it and topped it off with new gear oil. And I will tell you that it has been 9 months and about 17,000 miles. I haven't leaked another drop of oil on the floor of my garage. And also, no other PTU issues. All-wheel drive works, it does not leak, and to me, I think we fixed the problem. But first, let's talk about what vehicles that this will work on. I know for sure the 2007 to 2013 all-wheel drive Lincoln MKXs are going to be just like mine, and also the Ford Edges of the same body style that look like this. I'm not positive, but it looked to me like from the research I did online, the all-wheel drive Ford Explorers from that time period and the all-wheel drive Ford Tauruses also have this same PTU. So hopefully if you came to this video with a PTU issue on one of those vehicles, I think you'll be able to get enough information from this video to start servicing your PTU also, and hopefully it'll help you out. You're going to need a 7/16 drill bit, obviously a drill. I used a 1/4 inch NPT tap, National Pipe Thread tap, a 1/4 inch NPT hex plug or some sort of drain plug, and you will need your gear oil. My manual called for 75/140 gear oil. So make sure you look at your manual to see what your vehicle calls for. For now, let's cut back to the old video and I'll show you how I did the service on it 9 months ago, and then we'll wrap this video up today. I'm going to do the second service on it, and we'll see what the gear oil looks like after another 17,000 miles on it. So that's the PTU there. That's where the gear oil leak is. See the little black dot right there? I put that dot on there. That's where I'm going to put my drain plug. So that's right on the back side of this bolt. I'm going to drill a 7/16 hole there and then put a 1/4 inch NPT tap through it. Here's a snapshot of some approximate measurements. I went about 7/8 of an inch back from the center line of that bolt and about 3/4 of an inch over from the split line of the case. You have a little bit of room there. I think you could go plus or minus 1/8 of an inch either direction here, but you want to make sure you leave enough room for your hole and your tap without getting into that split line. I've got it nice and warm now so we can get as much as that sludge out of there. I just drove it home from work, so I'm going to hurry up and get the initial hole drilled. I'm going to run a shop vac right next to my hole to try to prevent some of the shavings from going into the case, and we'll see how that works. I've just got it wedged between the exhaust and the motor mount here, so I'll kick that thing on and start drilling. One more thing before I start drilling, I'm going to go ahead and pull the fill plug. This is that plug right there. It takes a 3/8 ratchet to pull it. That's your fill plug. I'm going to pull it, then we'll get to drilling. Well, I've got a 1/4 inch NPT tap, a socket that it fits in, and a long extension. I'm going to make some threads. I'm going to run it in and out of there quite a bit so I can spray the metal shavings off. Got it tapped. See the threads in there? That thing is plenty thick. I bet it's almost 1/2 inch thick right there. So there's plenty of room for threads. Here's my hex plug. I test fit it several times. It's just a brass hex plug. The book called for 12 ounces of 75/140. I've never seen these squeeze bags, but this is just Valvoline full synthetic 75/140. It called for 12 ounces and we got a full quart. So before I put the plug in it, I'm going to flush some of it through there to try to get any metal shavings and maybe some more of the gunk out of that thing. And we'll go from there. Man, Valvoline, I'm a fan of the squeeze bag. That's so much easier than a bottle. And there it is, the PTU transfer case drain plug. I've got it topped back off, no leaks. I did put a little Teflon tape on it, but I don't think you'd have to. Not too bad. Took me probably about 30 minutes by the time I cleaned up, so not a pretty quick project. I think it could save you a lot of money in repair bills. Okay, we are back in present day and ready to do our first service on it since that video. And as you can see, here we are 9 months later, no leaks on the plug. And I realized I didn't do a very good job on those clips showing you guys where the actual PTU is. So here's your transmission. It bolts right to the edge of it. You've got your passenger side CV shaft coming out of it, and axle, and the drive shaft is actually coming out of the back side of it, going to your rear wheels. I'm going to drain what gear oil is in there now into this little pan so we can take a look at it and see how clean it looks. So let me set you guys up we will start our second service. All right, on the exhaust. That oil is pretty black and looks a little sludgy, so I think we were due for another service for sure. A lot of that's probably it's went ahead and cleaned up some more of that sludge that was in there previously. Okay, I've got some time to kill, so I'm going to let that drain for about probably 20 minutes. I'll come back and we will top it up and look at the gear oil that came out of it. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got the drain plug back in it and we are ready to fill it, which I don't really have a good way to show you me filling it, but what you're going to do is pull the plug that I've already got it out, but right there, and you'll fill it with your gear oil till it's about level with that hole. And I'm going to use that squeeze bottle I showed you in the previous clips, and then we will look at the oil that we drained out. Here's a look at the oil that we drained out of there. It's pretty dark. I think we're still doing a lot of cleaning on the sludge that was cooked in there for the first 100,000 miles. So I kind of expect this to look better every time we service it after we get it cleaned up. But there it is. Doesn't look too bad. I don't see any metal or anything. Just kind of dark, sludgy, stinky oil. Well, that's going to be it for today. We successfully serviced our power transfer unit for the second time. Now we got our best help here. AJ showed up. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please consider hitting that like button and leave us a comment down below. If it didn't help you out, leave us a comment down below and maybe tell us what we could have done different. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next video.
See ya.
That was easy.